Hi everybody, welcome to another weekly session, and today's session will be discussing two important and very commonly discussed topics, which is how you can make a model, deep learning model, which performs classification and regression. Added to it, we'll also discuss how you can perform multi-label classification. So object or any item might belong to multiple classes at the same time. So how would you perform such a classification? That is a category which is known as multi-label classification. We'll be discussing that. Alright, so let's get started, and before we get started, ensure that you do hit the subscribe button down there in the links, and yeah, that's it. And do ensure that you are a member of the data science and AI community on the Slack channel. If not, please get registered. Alright, let's get started. So the first part is multi-label classification can be present in the sklearn datasets as well as in deep learning datasets, but it's quite common and commonly seen over the deep learning datasets. If you are using multi-label classification, most the chances are pretty high that you would be doing it on a deep learning dataset rather than a tabular dataset. But if you are given a task, not an issue. So let's start with the tabular dataset. How exactly it is? So scikit-learn provides a extended library which is scikit-learn multi-label classification in Python. This is what the library is. Let's go to get started. So as to get started on your Colab system, first you need to do scikit-learn and pip install the scikit-learn scikit multi-learn, and then you got to do is pip install arcff. These two installations, then you get started with the workflow. But I'm not getting started with the workflow directly, so because I would be just copying and pasting from here, so that doesn't make any sense. Rather, let's discuss and save time by going through this. This session might be small because we are discussing two concepts, and we'll keep it short in second, but doesn't matter. Yeah. So once you're done with the installations, you can proceed with the getting of the data sets. Once you have the data sets, you can check the features. That's up to you. But this one thing that you gotta do is first is you need to select a classifier. Your classifier can be of your own choice, can be any scikit-learn classifier. But once you select a classifier, then but before that you need to do a problem transform, that is binary relevance. So let's discuss a bit more about sklearn problem transform. So here we have classifier chain and something or the other. I'm also quite new to it, but yeah. Good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough. So let it be. So this is what they have done binary relevance, and they pass in the classifier, then pass in that the required dense is false and true values 0, 1. Then you got to train the model. Once you train the model, you get the classifiers, then you predict, obtain the predictions. You can measure the metrics. As simple as that. But I'm not quite habituated with this, so I'm yet to discover about it. Maybe a separate and dedicated video with how to deal with scikit multi-learn. So let's skip over this and let's jump to the main thing, which is deep learning, which is quite prevalent as well. So how do you perform multi-class classification in deep learning with multi-label classification, not multi-class. Multi-class is what we have been already doing. And how do you perform multi-label classification in deep learning? That's what we are about to discuss. So the main thing is about how you're gonna perform the model building. So let's say you're building a TensorFlow model. Yeah. So let's say model equal to tf.keras.models.sequential. Good. So let's say 2, 3 column layers, tf Keras, layers, convolution two-dimensional. Then you flatten a very minimal or a very simple, rather extremely simplistic CNN model with penultimate layer as a tens, 512, and the ultimate classification layer would be, this is what sets us apart, which is TF Keras, layers, tens. Now, how many classes do we have? This is extremely important. How many classes do you have? So if you, this is very important. How many classes do you have? So let's say there are 10 possibilities of multi-class classification, 10 different possibilities. So you would say 10, and within there, your activation would not be softmax, but it would be sigmoid. So for every unit, you'd be giving a probability of 0 to 1. You'd be a binary input. So if it is a high probability, then you would say that it is also, it can be considered among one of the many labels. It gets into consideration in one of the many labels. So that's the key point. This is the key point of this entire thing, of the entire discussion of. So if you have heard it, or if you have grasped the concept till here very perfectly, I think you have understood multi-label classification to a great extent. But now let's extend our discussion a bit further. If you have understood till here, then nothing better than that. But if you want to continue, let's continue. So this is one example I was going through. And I've also performed this and took part in a competition way back in the month of April. That was plant pathology. That was a multi-label classification problem. And it was quite interesting. So nothing much, get a data loader, get the data, and nothing different. Just number of classes, activation sigmoid, nothing much, and simple training. And here you can see the output would be dress, blue dress is jean, black, multi-label classification. This is a bit different. What I did was something like this. So if you go through this, maybe it was this or this, either of the two. Yeah, simple number of classes and this, get the model, get the classes, add a sigmoid layer, that's it. You're good to go. Then everything is model training. Nothing beyond that, nothing much. Quite simple, quite interesting. So was it? Good enough. I think you got the idea what this actually talks and discusses about. I doubt that this session would cross even over 30 minutes, but that doesn't matter. What should matter is the value you have gained from the session. So we have learned two things. One is the deep learning thing. You can use the last layer should be the number of possibilities of the multi-labels, number of labels you have, and for each label it would be a sigmoid activation. So ultimately you will be getting a multi-class classification. Now the main challenge which comes up is dealing with the predictions part. So once you are done with this, now let's check out the prediction part. So how do you obtain the predictions? Training is fine. How do you obtain the predictions? So your model would be predicting, then you would be adding threshold, then scores. Those who are crossing the thresholds would be given a corresponding label. So this is what you'll be getting. This is the first label, this is the second label, this is the second label. This is how you're gonna make this happen. So if predicts I is greater than the threshold, you will be adding, keeping that, else it would be marked as 0. That is what it is. So if it is 0, it would be a healthy leaf. If it is not, then it is a diseased leaf. What kind of disease it is? It's only a single disease. It might be no disease. Those kind of things. So prediction part becomes a slightly complex and conflicting, but that doesn't matter. I think you got the understanding and the working behind it. The working behind it is quite simple, and it's a bit difficult when you just start off with the journey, but once you get habituated and accustomed to what exactly it is, and you understand the working behind, then you can just begin with what it is. All right, let's switch over to the next topic. That's even more simple, and uh, we hope that the session can be wrapped up within 10-20 minutes. All right. So let us move on to the next topic of the day, that is deep learning model for classification and regression. This is also quite similar to what we did right now. The main part is model building, is dataset, other is data pre-processing things. Where do you actually observe these kind of things, classification and regression? Where do you actually observe? So you observe classification and regression at what do you say, object detection. The best example is RCNN types or object detection. So you have the input image, you make it pass through a convolution network, CNN networks, then the region proposes, those kind of things. But on a very simplified RCNN version would be this, a deep learning convolution neural network, and rather than having a simple final head of classification, you diverge it into two parts, wherein one part would be doing a regression of the 4 bounding boxes, a 4 regression head, linear dense layer with 4 outputs, doing the regression thing, and another branch would be doing the classification with 1 unit and sigmoid or softmax, depending upon binary classification or the multi-class classification. Okay, so let's get started. So what I'll be discussing is the model building, and once we are done with the model building, we can look into the already solved examples. That would save us some time, because that doesn't make any sense. Else it is a complete whole project. This is the complete whole project, so is the other topic a complete whole project. Very soon in the next year, I'll start a new playlist wherein I'll be solving projects, completing and performing projects live with you. You'll be performing projects with me. That would be a fantastic experience. You'll be performing projects right with me. We'll be performing projects, we'll be doing projects, we'll be getting them done in the way they are actually meant to be done, or the way I actually get them done. In the way actually I get them done. So that would be a fantastic learning experience for you, but not soon, not in the near present. At the very earliest, it would be next year. At the very earliest, it would be in the very next year. So without wasting any time, let's get started. The model would be something like a functional model. So let's say x would be equal to df keras layers dot input and here you can pass the df keras input would be input, output would be x. So x equals df keras layers dot convolution 2-dimensional, get the input through it, another convolution 2-dimensional, let the input through it. Now let's flatten it up. After flatten, I want one of the dense layer to be there with 512 activation equal to relu dropout. Now let's branch it into two paths. So first branch, which is responsible for the regression of P boxes. Other branch would be classification head. So this is what you would be needed to do if you want to do this kind of things. So first branch, which is the regression branch, it would be a dense layer, 4 units. Activation, you can have softmax, you can have, better to say, you can have a linear softmax because you're performing a regression. And over here you would be having layers dense 1 activation as softmax. Our number of units, number of classes, let's say 10 classes are there. So softmax if 1, then binary sigmoid, whatever it is. So outputs we have here is branch 1 and branch 2. Nothing difficult if you have been there in the architecture classes. So that's why I teach architecture. So I focus on architecture so much. I extensively focus on architectures because these kind of problem statements become quite simple. What was this? This was quite simple. This was just modification of this layer. What was this? This was just modification of this layer. But had you not understood architectures, this would be a problem in itself. The model building was a problem itself. So in these kind of cases, model building is not a problem. What remains a problem is data preprocessing. And those kind of things we'll learn in the project playlist. So whenever I am about to discuss the project playlist, we'll discuss those things, those peculiarities. But this is something you need not to struggle with. What happened over here? Okay. 64 activation kernel size, let's say 3. What happened? Please provide input a shape or a tensor. TF Keras layers input. Now what happened? Okay, it was not input shape, it was shape. Good enough. It's taking a hell lot of time. Stop it and rerun. Something is getting wrong with the model building. We can quickly check TF functional model. I think I'm doing something wrong over here. So how you gonna do it? Input. I think that's how I also did. Strange. Point is, it is getting stuck over here and I'm unable to figure out why is this happening. So what we can do is take this. This is my convolution 2-dimensional. It goes through an X. What is it? Output tensors of a function model must be output of a tensor layer. Okay. There we go. Good enough. Let's see the model summary. Yep, that's what we have, dense 9, 2 layers. So this is your model for classification and regression. Now let's see how you perform classification and regression at the same time. So this is one website, Machine Learning Mastery, quite famous. So they have taken this particular data set and they're trying to do combined classification and regression. I think model building is functional over here, but it's slightly different. Activation linear, activation softmax, and simple xtrain. And over here, the y would be 2. So rather than having a single y, this particular thing changes. You have a list of 2 y elements which is being passed, else everything remains the same. Quite simple, quite similar. If you want to plot the model, we can plot the model from tensorflow.keras.utils import plot model. This is a simple model which we have developed. Quite simple to understand. The concept is also quite simple to understand. I hope you got the idea. And notebooks will be shared, but there's nothing much to do. This is the main you need to learn is the architecture, the model. The models you need to understand. This model and the second model, how the changes are developed and how the changes are reflected. And these should not be difficult if you have followed on my architecture series, how I discuss the architecture and those kind of things. Those are way more complex than these things, but the idea of discussing those concepts was to make you familiar with the hardcore things. If you're comfortable with those, trust me on this, nothing on this in this deep learning industry at least to a great extent, would not be difficult for you. Like these subtopics, this is an extension of a subtopic, multi-label classification, or if it is classification and regression, those kind of things. So this is quite simple to understand. Given the fact you should be comfortable with architecture, designing and building. And yeah, data pre-processing is another different aspect, but that comes under project management. So to learn project management from me, that is a different thing. I can make a different playlist, but maybe next year. But no, not now at this moment. That's in the bucket list. That's definitely in the bucket list, but not at this moment. All right. Take care. Bye bye. Let's wrap it over here.